you've been pretty open about your family's like pretty extensive history with cancer, right? I mean, but it's obviously pretty much everybody's afflicted with it in some way, shape, or form. Your dad was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia about 4.5 years before he passed.
Yeah.
You had said he decided on his own terms that he was done. How so?
Well, he got to the point where he had to go for a weekly transfusion, like to stay alive. And I kept begging him to do that because selfishly I didn't want him to die, right? But I also had very quiet moments with him where we go back to that friendship and me saying, like, at some point, I know, Dad, it's not gonna be about me and Mom and your family and my sister and everybody, that it is about you. And when it's that time, I got your back. I will be honest with you, and I won't fight you. I won't try to talk you into doing anything that you don't want to do. But until then, I'm gonna be you to you and how you were to us as kids and push you, because your life is nothing like it was for you. I mean, he was outside, always doing something, working his machines, you know, piddling around in his barn, whittling, making toys, you know, just constantly going. It's not that anymore. It might be going to the doctor. It might be getting up and sitting in your chair and sitting outside and listening to the birds. Might be going to Costco or Sam's Club and putting you in the little remote control thing and wheeling around there. You love people, never met a stranger. It might just be that, but let's find some joy in that. And he did for a few years, 3.5 years. And he always knew, he always was curious about what death would be like for his type of cancer. He was always asking his doctor, and his doctor was great, Dr. McGurk. And he just said, you know, if you stop getting a transfusion, your body will just, in about a month's time, just go to sleep. And we were out at my property in Leavenworth. Lindsay and I have a piece of property out west in Kansas. And the SWAT team, the FBI SWAT team trains out there every once in a while. And they decided they were gonna do some smoked bologna. And I told Dad, hey, they're making smoked bologna. We're gonna do smoked bologna sandwiches. So he and Darcy, a caregiver who you've met and we'll see, they drove Dad out and had smoked bologna sandwich. And boy, he thought that was about the best thing he'd ever tasted in his life. And did some training on the shooting range. And Dad, he looked so pale. But he told me literally, Eric, I don't have any more fuel in the tank. It's so weird that that's where we were. And then the whole ride home and that next day, he came to grips with that month time period that the doctor had always told him. He's like, once you decide you have a month to live, and it took him 24 hours to work through that he was gonna die in a month. And then after that, he was talkative and fun as much as he could be, welcomed visitors. He loved loud noises, big booms. He had a little cannon that you pulled a string and it shot a 10 gauge blank off. And so when people would come, we'd say, Dad, do you wanna do the cannon? Yeah. So we'd get the cannon up and pop, and he'd just laugh as much as he could. And passed away at the house there. And when the funeral home came to get him, got the cannon out, and when he left the property, I just, I just want to make him proud and Just thought he was such a good guy. That's when he passed away, and I saw him take his sort of last breath. That's all I could keep saying in that moment was, "You're such a good guy."
The Vincent A. Stonestreet Family Fund. There's that ties into kind of the thinking behind that.
Yeah, and he loved kids. He loved helping out kids, and Kansas City Hospice was such a great, talk about angels on earth, people that have dedicated their lives to helping people in their final chapter. Well, there's about 65, 70 kids in Kansas City that end up in hospice every year, and some of them have desires and wants and dreams, and we thought, well, Dad would want to help out with that for sure. So we've been able to make a few wishes come true for kids.
Your mom, two-time cancer survivor. What did going through that experience with her teach you?
Humor. I mean, when she first was diagnosed with her kidney cancer, I mean, I was in LA and just feeling so far away from everything, and called her every day, tried to keep her positive and make her laugh. And, you know, it taught me that I knew that if I ever found the success I found, that and got asked to lend my name and my face to an organization, that I wanted it to be, you know, something with respect to cancer. And that's when I, you know, Stand Up to Cancer reached out to me pretty early on, and it was an absolute yes. And it always is a yes when they ask for something. They're great ladies, and Stand Up to Cancer does such a great job of it at the Game 4 of every World Series, where you hold up the card and say who you're standing up for. Through that, with my mom and my sister and my dad, and I had an uncle who had acute leukemia, and through my dad's death, the thing that I've learned and that bums me out is, in this world where we all have all these differences, we all can look across from each other and find a reason to not like them or feel different about them. The one thing we never talk about is that you and I have something very much in common, and that we're going to have to deal with grief and bereavement and the loss of a parent or the loss of a loved one. And I just now tell people, everyone that I can, like, find the commonality, because we all walk around knowing this thing is coming or has come, and we all have to deal with it. And you'd think that we would find some sort of unity in that.